Most of you have been here before, and you understand that our DRB board attempts to assist property owners with making improvements to their properties, primarily areas that are seen from the street in historic districts and then our overlay districts. And we enjoy working with our citizens, and hopefully we're helpful to you during this process. And just to explain it a little bit here, to remind you, our secretary shortly, our acting secretary tonight, Mary Catherine, will read the application, and after which the applicant would come to this center lectern and then state your name and your address. And then if you have something you'd like to add, you're welcome to do so. But we may have questions as well. In the meantime, our board members are reviewing the minutes for the August meeting and the work session. And as soon as they are willing to make a motion, we'll approve or amend the minutes from last month.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from last session.
Okay, good, thank you.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and these are both work session and regular meeting, I believe, are they not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, good. All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please raise your right hand.
Can I comment before we vote?
Yeah.
On page 4, under amended emotion, was that from last month's meeting? Because I missed last month's meeting.
It is.
Well, it said that I seconded the motion. Not sure that was me.
Board Member Lott seconded the amended motion.
Yeah, if I wasn't here, I'm not sure I did that.
Okay.
Not to say that I'm opposed.
We need to go back and review. We'll review the minutes and see who made that second.
Okay.
We can do that. Okay, and then now the
Sorry about that.
Motion,
Sorry about, I should have brought it to you.
I believe, was Josh.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. That was
About who did that? We're going to strike Board Member Lott from that.
I don't remember.
I think we can still approve the minutes, but with that change.
Do we know who seconded it?
I can't remember.
We'll have to go back and look at your and listen to your minutes.
As amended.
As amended.
As
That's
amended.
fair, right?
Yep.
Okay, now we'll.
I'll vote on that.
Now we'll vote to approve the minutes as amended. Raise your right hand. Good. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay, now, Madam Secretary, I think we can begin the actual meeting. If I can find my agenda here.
Okay. The first item in new business for your review is application number CER H19006. This is a request for the demolition of a cinder block building and replacement with the construction of an accessory apartment. The proposed new apartment would be constructed of hardy plank siding, and they've selected a color to match the existing main house identically. And the roof will feature architectural shingles, again to match the house roof, as well as Anderson 200 simulated divided light clad wood vinyl windows to match those used in the most recent addition to the main house. And the front door on the structure will be one of the Anderson 400 series and is a French door. The main house was constructed in approximately 1917, and this is a contributing property in the Historic Overlay District.
Good, thank you. And I think we have the applicant here.
Yeah, Sean Wolf.
Okay.
Sean Wolf, yeah.
Hey, and where do you live?
I live on Chestnut Brown Court.
Okay. Yeah, just so we've got the right Sean Wolf.
Yep.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't believe so. It was pretty straightforward.
Okay.
She's just looking for a place to retire and either have someone stay there or she would stay there, is what the structure is being built for.
Yeah. And I think they've upgraded the house a number of times, but really apparently have not upgraded the little garage. Much.
So, yeah, I did the house probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We did a small addition to the back of the home and updated the master bath.
Right, right. Yeah, it's always been a well-kept little cottage, but I don't think the old garage has had the same attention.
Correct.
So it's probably time for that. Did you all have any questions you'd like to ask Mr. Wolf?
Yeah. During our work session, we talked about the height of the roof on the new cottage. It looks like it's spanning the 32-foot side of the house, so at a 12 to 8 pitch, it's going to be up, what, 11 foot roughly?
Correct. Yeah. Right at 11 feet.
And, yeah, visually, you see a lot of roof. Did you ever think of putting the roof so we got a gable to the front? So it's spanning the short side of the...
We were just trying to match the house, so the house was done the same exact way, the same roof line and with the little porch on the front. So we were matching the cottage to look just like the house. That's why we did the roof line the way that it is, going
Yeah.
from front to back.
And it looks like on the main house, it's only spanning 26 foot. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I didn't build that one originally. We added on to the back, so I don't know how long it's
I think it's on the plat, maybe.
Right. It's on the front,
Yeah.
on the first.
If I can clarify, I don't know if you ever even discussed rotating that roof span. If you were building this out on a greenfield site, likely you would have spanned the narrow span and rather than the front to back. But since you're trying to sort of replicate that other house, you're going the long way.
Yes, sir.
And I guess he's pointing out that, well, that's making the ridge is up higher than normal.
Yes, I would like to lower the roof pitch if I could.
Well,
To a 612.
yeah, I think
Be a lot
that
better
you
look.
did the right thing by mimicking the house. But I do think Chuck's right that we're going to get a lot of roof that's unintended consequences if we don't lower the pitch.
Yeah, the only reason I did it like that was to make it look really
Right.
exactly like the house, but it would be better lowered to see a lot of wasted space up there that nobody's going to use.
Right.
So if I could do that, yeah, I could lower it to a 612 really.
Yeah, I think 612 would
Lower than that.
look a lot better.
Okay.
I mean, that way the height of the roof that you see is not going to be greater than the height of the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're exactly right. I think it would look a lot better if we did that.
And the owner not being here tonight, I don't believe, it'd be hard to all of a sudden rotate their roof.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was just a concern. Actually, there's an ordinance, I believe, that if you do the math, make sure that you don't exceed the other roof, because an accessory building isn't allowed to do that. And I think it's probably close.
Yeah.
Because you started out on the
Yeah,
floor.
if we dropped it down, it would look a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Say, it would look a lot
Okay. Good. Well, we might could amend when we make the motion, if it's agreeable to you. And I think previously we talked about maybe raising the window head where you can to at least 7'8", and then 8 feet if possible. We know you'll run into possibly some difficulty at the porch.
At the porch, yeah. I could put them all at 8 feet and then make the windows on the front, a 5'4" window, and that would give me another 6 inches, and it would it would be the same look that you're looking for, and it wouldn't really take away from
Yeah, I think it'll,
6-foot windows in the
I think it'll
front.
really help the nine, it's gonna be nice, those spaces are gonna be very nice with 9-foot ceilings, but then if they have 7-foot head heights, you don't realize the full benefit of the ceiling height, I think.
Yeah, we just came around to the porch, you know,
Yeah,
that's why they lowered
You're
it
trying
to
to keep
7, to
it-
try to get it below
Yeah.
the ceiling of the porch.
yeah, that's a
But if I
hard
could go
call.
with a shorter window in the front, which is not a problem. I have not ordered the windows yet, obviously, until y'all got y'all's approval. Make everything 8 foot and then do just 5-4 in the front, and that would take care of everything.
The
Okay.
5'4", are you talking about how far the window comes down close to the ground, or are you talking about
No,
where your
just
header
shorten-
height is?
Shorten the height of the window, you know, from a 6-foot window to a 5'4"
But it still have the same header height, right?
Still have the same header height, but, yeah, it would look, yeah, I guess you're right. It wouldn't help with the header height on the front porch. 'Cause I'm still gonna run into that no matter what I do on it. But
Right.
I can lower those on the front and then do 8 on the sides if you like.
Or you could raise the porch up
That's right.
I could raise the porch up, yeah, to make the,
a foot.
Oh, you could do
That would do a
8-foot
lot.
yeah, I could raise the porch up. That would work out, absolutely, yeah.
It
And
might
do
make,
8-foot header heights everywhere.
An 8-foot header height.
I think
Yeah.
it'd look more symmetrical if you did.
Yeah, I mean, I could just
Nice.
bring the soffits together, really, on the porch,
yeah,
if you want to do it that way.
yeah, I think that would be a good, because you really don't, you've got a relatively high eave height considering it's a slab-on-grade house, but then the porch comes so low. Again, there's that same 7-foot,
Yeah, again, what we were trying to mimic was the front porch of the original house.
Yeah, and it's
They
7.
did that, they dropped it below the roof, the main line.
right, I see, I
And so we
understand.
were trying to mimic that on the house.
Yeah.
But I could make all the soffits the same, which would actually be a taller roof on the front porch, which would be nice.
Yeah, I
really.
think it's
Right, it
okay.
would be.
You don't have to exactly duplicate the front.
Correct.
In my
That's-
mind, you don't.
Okay, yeah, I could make that even, raise that porch up and raise the windows up to 8 foot all the way around and not
Yeah.
change
Yeah,
the height of the windows at all.
that's right. That's a little bit of an awkward intersection, as you know, you're a carpenter and
Yeah.
contractor, but that intersection where that hip goes up into a cornice, they did it by necessity because I guess the bearing height is up so high
Yeah.
off the porch.
That's
Maybe
funky-
10.
Funky flashing right there where the
Yeah,
two roofs
yeah.
go together.
Do you recall the ceiling height of the original house? Is it 10? Probably,
Nah, I don't
Bet.
recall
maybe,
offhand.
maybe more.
Maybe a little more.
That's why that eave is so much higher than the porch.
I've not
probably.
been in the original, the structure since we did it
Yeah.
8 years ago, so
Yeah.
I can't remember.
If
Looks
you're-
like it has a higher ceiling height than the main house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
it
if these changes are amenable, we might just incorporate them into a motion if
Okay,
people
yeah,
can
that'd be
remember
fine.
them.
It's, yeah, we're just making recommendations. We're
No,
not,
Yeah.
I think they're great recommendations. I was just trying to modify.
Sure.
Just match the house
We
is why I did all
understand.
those things.
what,
So, yeah, I can raise that porch up, raise the windows up, and make a 612 roof. Would really look a lot better structure,
I
actually.
think so.
I wasn't trying to mimic a house, that's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, any other questions? None? Okay. Thank you, Sean, thank you very much. I'm going to ask if others have any comments about this particular application. You're welcome to come forward and give your name. I don't see anybody that wants to come and speak. And so we'll go ahead and have a motion and then vote here in a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Would somebody like to try to recapture the comments in one motion and,
Okay, I'll try.
okay?
And so, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend that we approve the cottage, the guest cottage, as requested in the application, with a change that the roof pitch be lowered possibly to 6, so that we can reduce that visual, and also to raise up the window header heights to an average of around 8 feet, and with possible increase in the porch ceiling height in order to help accommodate that.
Second.
Okay, good, good. I think that covered those two areas. Yeah, good. We got a motion second. Any discussion?
You know, I think the cottage is very appropriate designed. It looks good. It fits in with the neighborhood. You know, I think it's going to be a good addition to the neighborhood.
And it pretty much simulates the materials used on the
Right.
original house. I also believe that the original, the structure, the block structure that they're demolishing was not a 1917 version of a carport. It was just a CMU concrete structure. So I don't think we have a great loss there with the demolition. So at any rate, we'll go ahead and vote. We've got a motion and second.
We also, we noted the color and whatnot in there, but I forgot to ask Sean one question. Is it too late?
No, if you can come up and, just so it gets on the record.
So, Sean, forgive me for calling you back up.
No problem.
The Anderson 200 simulated divided clad windows, do those have the exterior grills approved, you know, permanently applied exterior grids to those?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Simulated divided light, yeah.
Okay, all right. We just didn't talk about it. I wanted to make sure.
That is relevant. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. I don't think we approved any, it's certainly not on contributing properties that don't have a permanent
Grid, yeah.
kind of grid on the
On
outside.
It makes a big difference in the way it looks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So, no
Good.
changes to my,
Good question, and we
Proposal.
have a motion. You made the motion, and we have the second.
Right.
Okay, all in favor of the amended application, raise your right hand. Okay, good. Thank you.
The next item of new business is application CER D19-001008. The applicant is requesting approval for the construction of an addition as well as the installation of a sculpture and 2 historical markers at 224 Lawrence Street Southwest, which is the historic Dibble Library. And the addition will feature a stairwell, hoistway, entryway, permanent handicap accessible ramp, and a covered entrance to replace the existing bent and rusting carport. And the materials that have been proposed will closely resemble those of the existing building in color and composition. The sculpture that is proposed is a lighted atom sculpture that will be installed on a concrete slab foundation. And the 2 markers that are proposed are for, one is a historic chemical landmark and one is a historic neutrino landmark. And the original building was constructed in 1927.
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to recuse myself from this item.
All right, thank you. Okay, and then we have an applicant here, or a representative of the applicant. If you could give us your name and residence.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
My name is Justin Swanson. I reside at 1000 Hammond Road, Aiken, South Carolina.
Okay.
I have a business at 1204 Whiskey Road here in Aiken, South Carolina as well.
Okay. We had some discussion in the work session. We appreciate you all coming ahead of time to that. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do have, we discussed in our session previously, passing these around. May I
Yeah,
approach?
please, yeah.
There's just photographs of the sculptures that we received through the city of Aiken. And in addition to the sculpture, we also were talking about signage. One sign is guaranteed. We are receiving that. The other sign is a little up in the air, but we're pursuing both today with you, just so you don't have to come back through if that's okay. But there is a chance it will only be one sign marker.
Okay.
Which would be the chemical sign marker. The neutrino sign marker may need to be relocated. We're waiting to find out.
It's currently at the chamber?
Exactly, yes, very good. And
Okay.
it was hit by a car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, its location is a busy road, so we're sort of hoping that we can pull it over to its more appropriate
Yeah.
location, which would be the museum.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read over there. You really have to know what a neutrino is to
Exactly.
Appreciate
Almost
it.
hitting their brakes, or perhaps that's why it was hit. Someone just wanted to know too
they were
badly.
trying to read the small print.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that this is a much better location for it, but it still remains to be seen
Yeah.
before we receive
Yeah.
photographers.
Okay. And I might as well just kind of lead into the comments we had in the work session, and primarily to do with the new addition. And I realize this is a reapplication.
Yes, sir.
And we're glad to see you all back, and we're very glad that you all are going to be the homeowners or the tenants there of this nice little building, which needed some tender, loving care for a number of years. But it did appear to several of us that maybe a simpler addition for the, it's literally a stairwell and elevator addition, kind of is what it is.
Exactly.
That trying to make it more than that almost is not a good replication of the original building, and cause attention to the addition maybe more than you need it to. If it were a whole new entrance that you're going to move to the rear, maybe it would need that kind of elaborate roof.
Yes, sir.
But I really think most of us felt like this is a utilitarian kind of addition, and the simpler the better.
I agree 100%.
So y'all were open to that discussion. So I think that maybe if the consensus was that if it could have a flat roof with slight slope, obviously, but and maybe needs to be the height that is required to allow for adequate structure. It doesn't have to be an exact match.
Yes, sir.
To that current parapet. That might be more appropriate and actually a more natural kind of an addition. So
Mr. Lott had used the wording as needed for function on that flat roof, surpassing the existing flat roof plate height.
yes.
And I agree. I think that's
Yeah.
going to add to the look and function of the building.
Mm-hmm. And then we had a little discussion of whether you maintain the gable. I personally think that there's not, even the front is the seashell,
Yes, sir.
little interesting
Birded seashell
porch.
scallops.
Yeah.
They don't do it like that anymore.
No, they really don't. Nobody, even occurred to. But there's not really a gable on the building now, a gable.
That's correct.
So that's why even the little porch on the back doesn't necessarily need to be a gable either. And it may be that it can be simpler, a new and improved version of what's there now, maybe.
Yes, sir.
But that's another thought, and could.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, it could be less expensive than ordering trusses and shingles and all. But it's up to your board. We'll see how the rest of the board members here. I say up to this board, but also your board.
Oh, yes, sir.
What they want.
Sorry.
Is that your board right there?
It is. This is the executive director, Mr. Joseph, and his wife, who are currently the stewards of the museum. We did discuss these modifications based on our previous meeting, and it is our goal to appease the DRB. And as long as we are meeting all conditions, we feel that we're still improving upon the building and meeting our goals. Truly, as you brought up already, the main goal of doing this addition is for function of the building. The main entrance will still, of course, be on the historic side. Everything you see here is to help us with exhibits, help us with getting ADA compliance to the rest of the building, and to allow for ADA compliance to the upstairs as well.
And you reiterated that you actually need access for exhibits to be brought
Exactly.
brought in through that new rear entrance. So at any rate, were there any other comments or questions about it? I guess the brick will be as close a match as you can get.
Yes, sir. We would like to scratch and match brick, mortar, everything that we can.
Okay.
Keep it as close to the original as possible,
Yeah.
which, as you well know, is always a little bit of a juggling act.
Right, that's right.
We have faith in our contractor.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to make the same comment that we made about the gable, the new gable being sort of a poor imitation of the original parapet gable, but the same thing with the color of brick. You know, I would look at your brick, this is personal here, and if it's close but not exact, I might make it a little bit more different
I see.
than try to
Make
be,
it blend.
try to
Yeah.
be a bad match.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I think so. I mean, it's obviously an addition. It should look like an addition.
Yeah, it's okay to acknowledge it's an addition.
Right.
That's a great point. So more appropriate to go for a difference in look than a ill-fitted match.
Ill-fitted match is what we don't want, right.
'Cause the match is obviously the best choice, but
Yeah,
And so that's something I imagine we can coordinate with our contractor during building,
Yes.
perhaps see some samples of the match.
oh yeah, they'll come to the building and look at the brick and then obviously provide you several different samples.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
We had a similar issue in New Ellington when we did the town hall, and I believe it was Boral came out with some samples.
Right.
And, they actually had to replace it because once it's set, the color was a little off. So it is our goal to make sure that we make it as appropriate as possible. As you know, the stewards of the building now are interested in making this a good-looking addition. We definitely want it
A
to
good
look better than
functional-
it currently does.
Yeah, it can be improved, but I don't think it has to be the Taj Mahal
Yes, sir.
either. Unless you're going to spend the money they used at the Taj
I
Mahal.
would prefer not to.
Okay, any other questions? Then we'll see if anyone would like to speak. Yes, we have a
Can
question.
the base of the atom be painted? Can that galvanized steel be painted?
Oh, you know, that's something we could discuss with the board. I imagine if that is a requirement by the DRB, we'd be happy to comply.
Well, I don't think it's a requirement, but I just think it would look nicer and match the posts of the other, and the downspouts are painted,
The same color, perhaps?
yeah.
I think the goal of
Not
the
the
artist...
atom but just the base part.
Just the base, the metal, the galvanized steel. I believe that the goal of keeping it the galvanized steel look was to keep with the industrial look of the history of SRS and winning the Cold War and things of that nature. Also, it's atoms in space, and I think it's supposed to somewhat resemble the satellites that we're currently using, power that was generated at SRS, Cassini probe, et cetera, that looks comparable to this. So I think they were trying to make it look a little comparable to the current probes that we're using in space and also the industrial look. Yes, Mr. Joseph. I'm sorry, pardon.
Jump
If I
up.
may,
Yeah,
please do.
just quickly on that one. The sculpture is really not intended to match in any way the structure. The structure, when people drive by or walk by, what they see is the old Dibble Library building. And it looks the same way it's looked since 1926. And when we were talking about getting a sculpture from the Aiken Through Art Project, we said we want a sculpture that will tell folks that, yes, the building looks the same, but there is something unique and different inside. So we're trying to put that message out. And so the sculpture is deliberately different from the building. It's not painted. It is galvanized. It will be shiny, and the little subatomic particles on it are brass, as they in their rotational orbits. So it will look different from anything that is associated with the building, and it's deliberately that way. I hope that clarifies it, Keith.
So the base is actually part of the sculpture, it's not just holding it.
Yes, the base is a representation. if you're a Buck Rogers fan, as I am,
Like a rocket.
from the old comic strips, you'll see the Buck Rogers fins that come out like this on the rockets. Yes, it is intended to evoke a rocket ship with the atom
Okay.
at its pinnacle.
Yeah, I can see her point where if that's a base sort of with a rocket reference. But yeah, it could be a bronze, and then that actually enhances the atom model. But I guess it's y'all's sculpture, and we don't approve art really. I see. Isn't that what you're saying? That the base
Yeah, just,
I see what you mean.
it might, yeah, actually enhance the atom part if the base were a darker color.
I can discuss it with the sculptor. I will not guarantee his acquiescence.
Right.
I'm good with your
He
explanation.
may have very strong feelings about it.
I'm good with your explanation. I
Yeah.
just,
Oh, good. Thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, really glad y'all are moving forward. And,
On a side note, I would like to just thank the board for your time, and Mayor
you're
Kaplan,
welcome.
thank you for all your assistance again. I've worked with many municipalities, as I'm sure many of you have, and I'm always happy to be back here at home in Aiken. We do it right here.
yeah,
So thank you
we
again.
try anyway. And this way, Mayor Catherine's had the opportunity to actually review this. She would have missed it if y'all had gone forward last time. Now, I'll go ahead then, and thank you, Justin. I just have to officially ask if anyone, I see we have one more
Thank you all.
one more audience member back there, but I don't see that he has a comment at this point, so we'll go ahead and have a motion if that's okay.
Sure. You want me to do this one? Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend that we approve the motion for the new addition and the signage as stated in the application, with the modification to the gable roof on the back, that be made into a flat roof of appropriate height to accommodate what they need inside in terms of ceiling heights and elevator capacity.
Good, good. Okay, and I think the rest of it is as submitted.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
We talked about it, but I don't think we get, but yeah, we did not talk about changing the gable on the porch. We talked about
We
it could be
said that
something
would
different.
be their option, and I think we probably should include in the motion a provision for how they would resubmit. I don't know that, but you've pretty much captured. It's a very simple modification to the application, but I think it would be good for them to submit the
If they're going to
revised
change
drawings. Yeah,
it. If they want to, oh, you mean for the eliminating the back to a flat roof? Yeah, I agree. That would be
Yeah,
good
that-
to have that.
and at that point,
Administrative.
they can, for administrative review, because it really doesn't match, it'll hopefully match our motion, but we ought to have a drawing.
Yeah, I agree.
That'll help them too, to see, is it 2
Right, well,
feet
they'll
higher?
have to draw
or
it. Yeah.
Now, I think I was the one who just made a personal comment that the little canopy might be more appropriate as also
The shed.
relatively flat and not a gable. But we'll see how that, you can do what you want to.
I wasn't going to address it at all, but
Yeah.
if you'd like me to change the motion to address it, I can. Okay.
I would agree. If it's okay with the board, our board would also wish to keep the small gable over the porch, at least until we see the new elevations, once modified. Perhaps when we see the new flat roof,
Okay.
we'll wish to continue with perhaps a shed or a flat roof over that area.
Well, let's
think we
put the
can leave it
motion
like
in to
that.
allow that. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'd like to amend my motion to also give them the option to change the porch roof to a shed or some other roof configuration on that, and that all of those changes be submitted to the city for administrative approval of the final design.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that will not require an additional.
No.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. Any discussion? All right, good. Okay, all in favor of the application as it's been amended, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's approved. Thank you. Yeah. All right, I think that's all we have for tonight, so we'll go ahead and have a motion to adjourn. And thank you.